Okay, back for paper 2. Paper 2, again out of 35 marks. Paper 2 generally, because you've got your calculator, tends to be done a wee bit better than paper 1. It doesn't happen for everyone, some people are the other way around, but most of the time, paper 2, people do a wee bit better. First of all, the context of the question is you're investing money in a bank, so your interest rate means that whatever money you put in, your money is going to grow by that % each year. So, what we would want when you're working is 7,500. Because it's gone up 2.6%, so the interest is getting added onto your account, the 100% that you've got is going to change to 102.6%. That means when you change that 2.6%, 102.6% into your calculation, you want it as a decimal, so it would be 1.026. Alright, because it's for 4 years you're investing this money, or got the money in the bank, power it to 4. And if you type that into your calculator, 7,500 times 1.026 to the power of 4, you get that answer there, 8310.95 and so on. So 8310.95 and so on. Sorry. Now, final bit to this question is round to 2 significant figures. Your first significant figure is the 8 and the second significant figure is the 3. This is £8,310.95. First significant figure, the second significant figure gets the same by that 1, so it's just 8,300 would be the answer. 4 marks, 1 for the 1.026, 1 for multiplying with the power of 4, 1 for getting the original answer, and 1 for rounding it to 2 significant figures. Okay, question 2. Another percentage question. This time it's telling you that the greenhouse temperature was measured. It was a 12% drop from the original measurement. You want to work out what the original measurement was. So it's telling you it's came down 12% and it's 18 degrees. If it's down 12%, it means you're at 88% of what you were. And it's 18 degrees. So that should be the first thing you write and it gets you a mark. To get 100%, you basically want to work out what 1% would be. If you did 18 divide 88, that would tell you what 1% is. And times it by 100 will get you what 100% is. So if you do 18 divide 88 times 100 in your calculator, the answer you get is 20.45, and it goes on for a bit. 20.45. And that's fine for the answer. Some people rounded at 20, 20 degrees, whatever. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 marks for that question. Okay, question 3, mean and standard deviation question. There's 2 different ways to do standard deviation types questions. First thing that you need to work out, and either way you do it, is the mean. When you work out the mean, add up all the numbers, divide by how many there is. So if you add up all those numbers, divide by 6, the answer you should get is 300. That's the first mark. Okay. If you do it the method that my class would do it, which is the table with the x minus x bar, and the x minus x bar squared, the number that you would get as the sum of your x minus x bar squareds would be 26,800. So you do your table, and that would be the number that would be your sum. So if you've made a mistake at some point in your table, it will just be a wee careless error, something to check out, but that should be the sum. If you've used the other method, the table method that Miss Ronnie's class would have been using, then the number you're looking out for would be 566,800 as the sum of your x squareds. Alright, you then substitute into the formula. I'm just going to do a wee bit of cheating here in Mon Review just to save me writing all the wee bits and bobs down. But if you see either of those 2 formulas there, the root of 26,800 over 5, or the slightly larger one, if you had either of those 2 down, you got mark 3. Those 2 formulas, whatever one you were using, would end up leading you to an answer of your standard deviation being 73.2. Alright, so you just seen the marking scheme there that I'd been using to mark it. You get 1 mark for either of those two numbers depending on which method you're using. Then you get another mark for subbing into the formula, whatever formula we're using, and then 1 for the answer, 73.2. That was 4 marks. Marking all of those questions, there was very, very few people that dropped marks in the calculation of the standard deviation. Alright, if you did and you're a wee bit unsure about it, please just ask again on Teams and we'll go over it. Comments. Comments always cause a bit of an issue in marking. The best advice I could give is use the words that are in the question to help you answer it. The SQA can be harsh when they're marking comments, and so I was trying to be as realistic as I could be marking it. I'll just try and be as clear as I can when I'm going over this just now. There's loads of different ways to write the right answer down. There's loads of right ways to write close to what the answer is and not get a mark. First off, you want to say something along the lines of, in Scotland, where your mean's 300, in England your mean's 340. So you want to say something along the lines of, in Scotland, or generally, or on average, in Scotland, the price of an annual membership is cheaper than it is, an annual membership for the golf courses in Scotland is cheaper than the annual memberships of the golf courses in England. So starting with on average or generally, the price of an annual membership of golf courses in Scotland is cheaper than the average, than the annual membership of golf courses in England. Alright, second comment about standard deviation. Your answer for the Scottish courses was 73.2. For the English courses, it's 82. So your comment wants to say something along the lines of the Scottish courses have more consistent prices, right? But the way you say it's important. So you would say the cost of the annual membership of golf courses in Scotland was more consistent than the cost of the annual membership of golf courses in England. Something that led Scotland's golf courses to be more consistent. So you had to mention the context and you had to have your statement the right way round, if that makes sense. Any further questions about that comment, please just ask. Alright, that's standard deviation. Okay, question 4. Question 4 done really well, just scientific notation. Gives you the weight in scientific notation there. 2.3 times 10 to the power of -4. And you're just timesing that if you want to know how many there would be in 1,200 people. So it's just a straightforward times. Using your scientific calculator, the answer came out to be 2.76 times 10 to the power of -1. Alright, if you're inputting that into your calculator, if you've got a Casio, 2.3 times 10, that button there, to the power of, now you can put -4 in. I would tend to just press equals at that point so that you get the number up. Your calculator stores it, and then times by 1,200 and change it back to scientific notation once you get your answer. 0.276. So your answer is 2.76 because basically the number has to be between 1 and 10. So 2 point means your points had to go back 1 place, which is why it's -1 for your power. Right, 2 marks worth there. 1 and 2. Question 5. Question 5 caused quite a lot of bother. If a bracket's getting powered, each of the things in that bracket are getting powered. So that A inside is getting powered to 3. And the B to the power of 4 is getting powered to 3. And when a power gets powered, the powers multiply. And the bottom line, just keep that the same now. So the first mark was for A3, B12. A to the power of 3, B to the power of 12. Some people missed that power of 3. You could get the next mark if you either simplified your A's, a cubed over a would be a squared. Or you simplified your b's. When you're doing b divided by b, the power subtract 12, take away -3 would be 15. So 1 mark for either or of those things, and third mark if you got it all right. Okay, so question 5. Question 6. Factorising a trinomial, 2 sets of brackets, just watch the signs of the right way around. X is at the start. To make 10 you're thinking 5 and 2. To get plus 3x when you add the 5, take away the 2. That works your smiles, that's plus 5x minus 2x. Gets you 3x in the middle. Alright, part B, common factor. 3 goes into both things, so does x. 3x. 1 set of brackets, 3x times x gives you 3x squared, minus 3x times 2 gives you 6x. That was not particularly well done, that question. I think it's maybe a bit easy for some people, think it's going to be harder. 1 mark for each of those. Hence simplify, so using your answers. Top line, x plus 5, x minus 2. Bottom line, 3x bracket x take away 2. So the x take away 2 is in the top and bottom, can cancel because everything's multiplying, leaving you with x plus 5 over 3x is your answer. So 3 marks available in question 6. Question 7. Okay, so we've got a triangle, we've got 2 angles inside. I've got the 5 centimetres and I want to find out what that x centimetre is. Calculate the length in a triangle, so it's either sine rule or cosine rule. You want to find out that side. If you were to try the cosine rule, things might not work out for you in terms of information you've got. But if, name your sides, big A's across there, little a, big C, big B, little b. Try out sine rule, a over sine a equals b over sine b equals c over sine c. Alright. Now we know little a, we want to find little c. We know the angle at A. We don't know anything about B side, but we know the angle at B. What we really need is that angle there at C to help us. Looking at the diagram, can we work that out? Yes. Because angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So 110 and 25 is 135. So that has to be 45. That has to be 45. So we know that. So we can use sine rule, we don't need the b's. We've got 5 over sine of big A there, sine 25, equals little c, which we can call x, over sine c, so sine 45. Okay, now at this point, you're sitting with some marks. You've got your mark for getting the 45 and the missing angle. You've got a mark for using your sine rule, get to that point. To get x on its own, you basically want to multiply the sine 45 up. So x would be 5 sin 45 divided sin 25. That's another mark. And if you do everything carefully in your calculator, the answer that you should end up with is round about 8.4. And that will be centimetres for mark 4. Question 7 was done really well. Okay. Okay, question 8. I was actually a bit disappointed the way it went down, because I think 8's one of those questions that once you see it, you'll think, well, that's not too bad at all. You get to calculate the magnitude of the vector 2u minus 3v. So 2u minus 3v basically means 2 lots of that one. So that's 4 minus 2, 10. Take away 3 lots of that one. So it's minus 6, 9, 18. 4 take away minus 6 would be 10. You take away a negative, it goes up. Minus 2 take away 9 is minus 11. 10 take away 18 is minus 8. So that's your vector. That's just worth 1 mark. Okay. If you got that right, perfect. If you made a mistake, then you can still get the marks 2 and 3. Some people just stopped there because they forgot to find the magnitude. The magnitude is when you put the straight lines around it, the magnitude lines. You take the numbers that are in your vector, add them together and square them, and put them under a root sign. Okay, and that's your second mark, you do that. The answer, if you put all that in your calculator carefully, is around about 16.88. 16.9 say. That's your 3 marks. So question 8, a wee bit worried just because I think it's a question that you'll probably look at now and think, well, I could do that. Alright. Question 9. Cone shape, diameter cone 6, volume of decoration is 254.5, calculate height of the cup. So the volume of a cone is basically what we're working with here. Look at your formula list at the start of the paper. And the volume for a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, 1/3 pi r squared h. We know the volume is 254.5, so write that in. Is 1/3 times pi times the radius of the thing. So diameter 6, the radius is 3 squared, times the height, we don't know. We want to find the height. Now, my advice here is to keep the 254.5 where it is. That's 1 divided by 3. So to get rid of that thing there, we can times the 3 over. So because that 3 is on the bottom, to get rid of it, we can times it over to this side. Because we want to get h on its own. I'm going to times that 3 up. That's a times pi on that side. I want to get rid of it over to this side, so I'm going to divide by pi. Times 3 squared, I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to divide by 3 squared. And that's moved everything over away from my h. If I do all that calculation, the answer I get in my calculator is around about 27 centimetres. And that's question number 9. 3 marks again, 1 for subbing in the information correctly, 1 for starting to get h on its own, and 1 for the answer. Okay, so 3 marks. And that takes us up to our last question, question 10. Okay, question 10, bearings. Bearings is something that when you were in class you were a bit worried about. Quite a lot of words in the question, so let's try and get through it. So we know the sides. 2 ships leaving a port, so there's a port P. Westminster's the W ship, there's a ship going up to W. There's a ship going to Bogota, down here, where the Bogota is the ship. The Westminster travels on a bearing of 67. So if you're standing at the port facing north, the Westminster is travelling on a bearing of 67. So that angle in there is 67 degrees. I want to calculate the bearing ship B must have followed from the port. So basically I want to work out the bearing that goes from the north line at port all the way around to the B. So basically that whole angle. Okay, so the way we were going to do this here, because we know 3 sides in a triangle, if we can work out this angle here, then the bearing's basically just those 2 angles together. Alright, so that angle we want to find out. I want to find this angle. I've got the 2 sides round about it. That angle's cosy. Cosy between the 2 sides. So it's going to be a cosine rule for an angle. Cosine rule for an angle is cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. I'll write that out. Cos A, B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. So that's cosine rule for an angle. Now we're dealing with PW's and B's here, okay? What I want you to try and pay attention to though is if we're trying to find the angle at A, then little a goes at the end here. So if we're trying to find the angle at P, little p goes at the end. If that was A, little a would be there. That's P, little p would be there. So the 30's got to go at the end as a subtract. The other things, 28 and 34, are the things that go first. over, and then it's B and C in the bottom. Remember that little A is the one across from the angle you want to find, so it doesn't appear again. So 2 times 28 times 34 in the bottom. Okay. That's cos A, is this stuff. To get A, it's cos to the minus 1 of that whole thing. Alright. So if you put in your calculator, shift, cos, open a fraction up, 28 squared plus 34 squared minus 30 squared over 2 times 28 times 34. Go to the end and close it. The answer you get is 56.89, so I've got 56.9. So that angle there is 56.9 degrees. That means the bearing that we're after here is 67 plus 56.9. And if we add 67 onto what we had, we'll get 123.9 degrees, or you got 124 as a bearing. Okie doke. So that was the exam. The marks here in this last question, 4 marks, 1 for using the cosine rule, 1 for having all the numbers in the right way and getting 56.9, and then the last question, 4th mark for the bearing added together. Okay folks, remember, ask any questions once you've watched it. Degrees in there. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you.